BBC News.
Well, the past system has raised some concerns among civil rights groups, as around 2 million people in Israel still haven't been vaccinated. Let's speak to Maya Fried from the Association for Civil Rights in Israel. Maya, if this allows normal life to get back to normal, where do you see the difficulties, the problems might be with it?
Hi, and thank you for having me. So there is sense in what the government is doing, and this is certainly not a black and white issue. We are a human rights organization, and we are the first to come and say that no human right is absolute. And so every person has the right to determine their own health and whether they would like to get the vaccination or not. That being said, positive reinforcement on behalf of the government to go ahead and try to get herd immunity in the population is welcome, as long as it's proportionate and there are no other better alternatives. So we are following the situation. Everything changes here on a day-to-day basis. And at the moment, we see the sense in this plan.
In terms of the rate at which Israel is vaccinating the population, will there not come a point where the vast majority of people who want to have the vaccine and then get back into normal life will have had that opportunity fairly soon?
So it looks as though things are running smoothly in terms of the vaccination rate. And as you mentioned, we are doing that the fastest in the world at the moment. Having said that, there are also communities of people who cannot get vaccinated, including anyone under the age of 16 and populations who have other health issues. So there will be questions that come up regarding those two populations, for instance, and also other more vulnerable populations who, for other reasons, maybe are not able to get the vaccine. It's not as accessible to them. That being said, we need to see the case-by-case basis, and we are not getting so many complaints on that front, but we are getting complaints in terms of employment, in terms of vulnerable employees who have been asked by their employers about their vaccination plans and threatened with being fired if they're not vaccinated. And here we appealed to the Attorney General because that is clearly illegal in our view.
What do you think a better approach would be instead of this Green Pass scheme then?
So we advocate for a democratic process, and clearly we're in an emergency situation and there's an emergency government and there are all types of regulations that are being passed sort of on a day-to-day basis. That being said, if there needs to be a further infringement of rights, whether it's employee rights or freedom of movement, there needs to be a democratic process where these things are legislated through the parliament and there is a public discussion.
OK, Maya Fried, thank you very much indeed for your analysis on that from the Association for Civil Rights in Israel.